My name is Trust Chikohora. I'm a businessman, I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I'm an economist in my own right. I have been a business leader over the years, and now I'm a politician. I'm the leader of Code Party, that's a coalition of Democrats, and Code is a member of Polad, the Political Actors Dialogue. In Polad, I'm the chairman of the Economic Committee. When President Mnangagwa came into power in 2017, there was a lot of hope that things were going to really go on the up. And then there were elections in 2018, and then there were problems after elections. And then, things were not going as well. And I think after that, that's where you saw people now starting to talk about dialogue, and that's where you started seeing the initiative of Paul play to say, let us find ways of talking to each other as politicians, so that even after elections have come and gone, we can be able to build our country together. At that point, even in the economy, things were going bad. I think that's when we had the riots to do with the first fuel price increases that happened. And then you then had the very bad situation where the use of foreign currency was banned completely. And then you were now just trading solely in Zim dollar, and inflation shot up, to very high levels, over 800%. And I think that was the very low point. And I remember ourselves in Poland, that's when we really were agitating for economic reform, and we called for a Polad Economic Summit. If you recall, that was now in 2020, in June, I believe. At that time, things were really bad. And so we came up with the Economic Summit, where all key stakeholders came together to discuss about the economy. We had us as political actors, we had labor, we had the business organizations like CZIs, NCC, MCOs coming to the table. We had the international community, UNDP. You had foreign missions like the Chinese embassy, the South African embassy, coming to share on the lessons that they've learned in their economy. The World Bank, international institutions, and all your members of the diplomatic corps, amongst to chart a way forward for the economy. And it was a huge success. We came up with a report which we presented to the president, and it helped to influence major key decisions, like the reintroduction of the multiple currency system, which we now have, and a lot of people take it for granted. But it was very difficult to get that reversal of policy to move away from exclusive Zim dollar and even criminalization of Zim currency to a situation where multiple currencies were again embraced. I would say that was a key achievement in moving policy in that direction. There are other things like the issue of respecting BPAS, the BPAS agreements. That is a thing that came out of the Economic Summit, which was implemented a week after, in terms of the statutory instruments coming out to say now government will be respecting BPAS. We believe things like even the compensation of farmers, all those things were also influenced by some of the interactions that we had there. Things like the exchange. I believe it was a recommendation which came out of the Polad Economic Summit, because we also had Zimbabwe Stock Exchange participating there. And at that time, trades in Forex were banned. You know, in fact, counters such as which were dually listed, like Old Mutual, you know, were suspended. But then there was supposed to be a way forward, and the fact that we needed an exchange came out very clearly. And so the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange was born, which we believe will be a major enabler going forward, where people and organizations and local investors, foreign investors will be able to trade in hard currency on counters listed on the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. I'm just mentioning some of the major highlights in terms of policy influence that we have managed to do as Polad Economic Committee. And these are things that could not even be done by those who were in Parliament. While people in Parliament were singing and walking out, we were influencing policy. And some of the relative stability that then came up, the major one again, the auction system. At that time when we had the economic summit, there was nothing like that. So it was agreed that there was need to have a transparent mechanism of trading currency, and the auction system came into play, and it is still there now. You know, at that time, for a period of almost a year, the exchange rate was stabilized and prices were stabilized. So I believe then inflation started coming down. Now it's creeping back up again, but you're talking about 72%. Those days we were talking about over 800% inflation. So for me, we have scored major successes, and the relative stability that we enjoyed over the past couple of years, we have contributed to that. And I believe the platform that we had in Polad and the platform that we had as Polad Economic Committee has influenced and has touched people's lives. I don't know where we would be now if we did not have that engagement process that we've had, if we did not have those interventions that came in at catastrophic levels in terms of economic decline. But they had relative stability, and we even saw economic growth over a 2-year period, because at that time it was economic recession. We had negative growth, the time that I'm talking about, 2020, 2019. 2021, now, moving forward to 2022, you've seen now growth, negative growth. You now see 2020, moving to 2021, positive economic growth. And even projected 2022, 2023, projected growth. These are some of the achievements that we can talk about. Well, going to 2023 now, ourselves as a party, as a court, we will be building and caring for the elections. We believe even the work that we have done in Poland has made people see what we are about, and has shown people what we can do if in the corridors of or even close to the corridors of power. So you'll find that now we will be hyping more on CODE, and we will also hopefully be in a position to build even a broader coalition beyond CODE, which can be able to effectively challenge for political power in 2023. So CODE will be working to challenge for political power in 2023, and we are going to be hyping that, moving on now towards 2023 elections, building on from the work that we have been doing in the period between 2018 to 2023, and people will be able to judge us for what we have been doing in the service of the nation and in the service of the people. 23, depending on what the results will be, or even whatever the outcome is, it is still important for political actors to be able to talk, to be able to continue to contribute towards nation building. Whether that will be done through another platform like Polad or some other mechanism will need to be seen. But I will say that there is great benefit in having political actors being able to talk to each other, being able to contribute even in between elections in a positive way. And peace, peace building, that's another positive attribute that comes out of a platform such as Polad. And tolerance, the more you are talking to each other, the more tolerant you become. And the more you appreciate different political viewpoints, different points of view in building our nation. In Zimbabwe, we are very polarized, and that does not help anyone. So any mechanism which helps to bridge the gap between people, which helps to achieve nation building, is important for this country. To realize a vision of a prosperous nation going into the future, a prosperous nation for our children and their children, and even for us in our lifetime, then unity of purpose is essential. It doesn't matter who is in power. They will need that unity of purpose if we are to move this country forward. We've had the opportunity to work with President Mnangagwa since 2019 in Poland, and myself as chairman of the Economic Committee, I have had many interactions, with the president, and I think I've seen one attribute that I had not known before the interactions, is that he is somebody who listens a lot. He is a good listener, and he is somebody who, when people are talking, he will be taking down information. He likes written information, written reports brought to him, so that he can be able to go through things. And if he believes something that has been raised can be useful, he will take it up. So from his side, I think he has also seen the value that can come from even opposition political parties. He has got to appreciate the strength that comes from getting ideas even from others. And so I think his perception of some of us as opposition leaders has also changed. Even some within ZANU-PF who accompany him to some of the meetings have seen that actually some people in the opposition are interested in building this country. They have gotten to appreciate that. And myself, personally, he has said to me that we need to continue to give this advice, and he has said that he has found it very, very useful. You see, when you look at the scorecard of what somebody has done and what they have not done, you can then say, have they done well, have they not done well? We are in opposition, obviously, because we believe we can do better than what is being currently done. And there are certain things that I can cite which need to be worked on. For example, the issue of corruption, that we believe needs to be nipped in the bud. And I don't think that the current government has managed to do enough to deal with the scourge of corruption, which is something which will need to be done in order to get the country to where it is supposed to get. The issue of re-engagement, I think that has been government policy, and it is good for the country, but we believe that more can be done in that regard as we implement reforms, yeah, in the country, political reforms, economic reforms. And in that regard, as Polad, we have come up with electoral reforms. I'm sure some people will have come up with, we will have seen these electoral reforms that we have come up with, which we are going to be handing over to the president, so that his government can implement them as we go to the elections in 2023, so that we can have a more free and fair electoral system. A situation where election outcomes are not challenged all the time, so that we can have improvement in the way we conduct ourselves politically and through the elections. But in terms of some of the things that he has done well, I think moving from somebody like Robert Mugabe, who was the only leader for the period of 37 years, to a new leader, he has shown some attributes of getting others on board nation building through initiatives such as Polad, practical example. That was needed. It was necessary in this kind of transition, and he has managed to do that. Another success for him is the way that he has managed the COVID-19 pandemic. Zimbabwe is one of the leaders in terms of the way we have managed this pandemic. We've done better than big countries in the West. If you look at percentages of infection, percentage of deaths, against a background of a dysfunctional health delivery system, we've managed to vaccinate more people. I think we're in the top 10 in Africa in terms of our vaccination program. So that is commendable, because a lot of people thought that we were going to have a catastrophic situation in Zimbabwe after COVID-19. Even some natural disasters like Cyclone Idai, and we visited the place which was ravaged by Cyclone Idai together with the president as Polad, which again was another noble gesture. The way these crises have been managed has been done well. So I think, for me, I give credit where credit is due. But where people are messing up, I tell them that they are messing up, and I think I think he also respects that. But for us, we are not afraid. That's what we do, and that's why we are here as opposition leaders, and we will continue to call a spade a spade. But where credit is due, we are not shy to give credit. We will not just oppose for the sake of opposing. We will not say it's bad. No, we will point out what is good, but we will highlight what is wrong, and we will continue to seek to do better, to challenge so that we can even do better than what is being done now. Some people shy away from these platforms because they know they may be exposed. You see, you can tout yourself as a superstar, out there, and just make people believe that without any substance to back it. So when you get into a platform where your ideas are challenged, and you are actually asked to explain yourself and to come up with things that other 20 leaders can accept, it is not easy. And some of these people that you think are stars may be found wanting. And I believe that is part of the reason why some of them do not want to get into these platforms, because they will be exposed. You see, so these are some of the issues that you need to look at. But nobody is forced to build their country. Others choose to destroy. We choose to build. And we will build whether or not anyone is there. This country does not belong to any one person. It doesn't belong to President Mnangagwa alone. It doesn't belong to any opposition leader alone who might think that they are the alpha and omega of this country. There is nothing like that. This country belongs to all of us. And it is up to us to build our country. We don't have to wait for anyone to build our country. We will move forward, and we will move forward until things are right. It is supposed to be apolitical. The military is supposed to save the people of this country. And some people may make such political statements. We don't regard them, because if somebody else who is not ZANU-PF wins elections, the military will have to serve under that new leader. So we will not be, cowed into submission by such a very unfortunate statements, misguided statements. We will not listen to such. What is important is for us to get the ballots in. If we get more ballots in than ZANU-PF, ZANU-PF will be out. That is the reality. They will want to scare people. They will want to present a picture as if it is impossible to get them out. But the truth is, if we get enough ballots, which are much more than theirs, they will be out. And the military will continue to serve under whoever will have been elected as president of. In as far as the cars are concerned, I have explained so many times that we had been working on national duty since 2019 up to 2021, almost 3 years, using our own resources, using our own vehicles. Some people's vehicles were actually destroyed in the process. Some of our vehicles have really lost value, and the powers that be, in appreciation of the work that was being done, saw it fit to allocate Polad members with vehicles. And I think that is all about the vehicles, and we appreciate the gesture. It makes our work much easier as we work in the interest of the nation. On the elections, I have explained before as well. We said that we were not going to participate in those elections because they were not going to add any value to the country, seeing that we are just a year away from the general elections. They are very costly, the elections, but we believed that no real benefit was going to come out of them. And we said that the status quo was going to remain the same. If anyone was going to benefit, probably ZANU-PF was going to benefit from the election, because the status quo remained the same. In fact, they have now gained more seats than what they had before. And we said that the people of Zimbabwe are not interested in elections a year before the general elections, and there was going to be voter apathy, and very few people are going to hit the call for it. Think like us to say, let us not get sidetracked by this, it won't add any value, let us move forward towards 2023 when everybody will be interested in elections. And we were vindicated. The majority of the people thought like us, and they did not participate in the election. Only a minority of people participated in the election. The majority were with us in thinking that this was not worth the cost that was incurred, worth their time for that matter. And more importantly, we were pushing for political reform, electoral reform, which we believe needs to be put in place before the 2023 election. So now if we were to go for this election and not concentrate on the electoral reform, there would be no incentive for ZANU-PF to effect the electoral reform. So as a matter of principle, we were also saying, let us go through the reform process first so that we go to elections properly in 2023 for the general election, having implemented the much needed electoral reforms. So this was our position, and we mentioned it at the outset that this is a waste of time, nothing is going to change, and this is what has happened. People were not interested, they did not go to elections, only a minority participated. So we were vindicated. The people believed in what we were building towards the 2023 elections. We want to give the electorate something new, something fresh, something that they can look forward to. People are tired of what has been going on in the past 20 ODS, ZANU-PF, MDC, it has not brought them anything. It has not brought them any joy. We are bringing something fresh. If you want something different from what you've been getting, the rubbish that you've been getting from local authorities, or the not so good governance that you've been getting from central government, very little that you've been getting out of parliament. If you want something new, something that will move this country forward, if you want leadership that will be able to unite our people from across the political divide, if you want to harness the energy of all Zimbabweans, including the diaspora, if you want something fresh, then you are looking at the leader who will be able to deliver for Zimbabwe. You are looking at Trust Chikohora, the leader for the future. You are looking at Code, the party for the future. Dare to be different. Try something else. Try something that can be able to take us out of this mess to the promised land. Trust Chikohora is the leader for you.